Almost 19 Okay. Okay, welcome back. Session 5 of Energy Management System Training. Today we're going to go through what we would call maybe minor air handling equipment, right? So it's kind of the miscellaneous stuff throughout the building. We got blower coil units, fan coil units, CRACU units, and then we have some areas where the VAVs are intertwined with some radiant heating panels, and we want to show you what that looks like, right? It's the main lobby and it's some of the patient rooms. We just want to make sure that you're aware where those things are. So real quick, just general stuff. Video recording is in session, so please bear with us there. Sign-in sheet is going around here somewhere. You guys picked that up? Great. And then we have the little evaluations that I handed out for you. Please, if there is feedback, let us know, right? We do read those. We do take that information to heart and try and adjust this thing so that it's useful for you guys, right? We were just sitting here brainstorming about, hey, are there some 10 or 15 quick hit little things that you guys need to know all the time, so that as new people are coming on or off and you want to show them, hey, here's how you go change the step one of a VAV, we can like break out a 10-second video that shows you that, so you don't have to go through an hour and a half of information to try and find that. So we want to make sure that this stuff is usable for you and that you can find what you guys need to do the most, right? So jot them down, we'll put them together for you. This is what the kind of end product looks like. This is the YouTube channel that we're uploading all these videos to. So right now we've got the 4 up there. I'll swap over real quick to the live version of this. Oops. Try that again. So these, what we're gonna do is organize all of these into playlists for you, right? So you'll have like an energy management system, you'll have HVAC equipment, you'll have electrical training, so that all, if you guys ever need to come back and reference any of the stuff that we looked at, it's all here for you, right? So we'll get, Josh has this login, he will just like share a link, and then everything will be in there for you. So we're populating it here as we go. So the 1 through 4 of the energy management system are up there for you and available if you do need them in the meantime, and we'll continue to do that and build that out as we go. So I think that's going to work pretty well. Here's the agenda for today. Maybe 90 minutes. Again, this is a pretty short session, so it may not take all of that time if I can get through this and shut up. Follow-up items from last time. We do have a few, and I want to go through those and kind of talk about some of the stuff that we're picking up as we're going and give you some updates of where we're at. And then blower coil units, fan coil units, CRAC units, radiant heat panels. Focus is these 3 things, right? Locations, the graphics, where they are, what they look like, how they work, and then how to adjust and maintain the set points on them. Pretty simple stuff, really. Then some time for Q&A and evaluation there at the end. So follow-up items from last time. The automated reports, everything that was requested has been created and is now being generated and emailed out to anybody who was requested to have them emailed. So if you guys are on that list, you should be getting them. If not, and you need them, let Josh know, and he knows how to add you to the list. You should be getting them. So if there's any other reports that are useful, right, as you're thinking and you're saying, hey, I want to get this information for this period of time, let us know, we can set it up, or Brian and Josh were through the training on how to set those reports up so they can start it, and if they run into problems, they can let us know, we can get them for you. Other stuff in progress, the thermostat quantity locations, we've got them, we're going through and identifying them, we're getting those to Michael, hopefully we can get those to him and he can get those updated for us tomorrow or maybe by next Tuesday. VAV label tags, we're going through and doing those, actually Peter and his team are going through and putting those on the grid. So what floor did you start on?
So 6, 3, everything on 2 that we can get to, and almost all 1s now.
Okay, so we should be through those tomorrow. So now, when you see the dots on the grid that mark the VAV, you'll also have the ST number for that terminal unit. So that'll be good. The floor plans on the VAV documentation links. So we talked about uploading the shop drawings with the highlighted VAVs. We've got those. We've uploaded level 2 to look at today. And get your feedback, right? Is that the right place for them? Does that work for you? Or is there some modification that you'd like to make to them? Air changes per hour, this is in progress, right? We gotta get the volumes of all these rooms so that we can put that calculation into the system, and then we can put that air changes per hour next to the pharmacies and the ORs and the places that you needed them right there on the graphic. So give us a week or so to get that done. We'll have it before next Thursday. Sequence of operations upload, so this was just attaching the pages of the actual sequence of operation to each of those critical areas, right? So when you go to OR1, you're gonna have that drop down of documentation, and it'll have the actual sequence of operation in that screen of the overall controls for that space, right? So we wanna make sure that that's nice and useful for you. Those are already up there, right? Yes, those are up there. Sequence of operations, yes.
Yes.
So we can look at that too. Emergency department room numbers, they updated them. We went down and took a list. We will pass that on to Michael and he will get them uploaded for us here so before next Tuesday, I think, probably reasonable. The cath lab smoke purge dampers was corrected, just a note that we had last time that they were showing open when they're closed and closed when they're open, but that's back to normal. And then alarm status. So we cleared everything last Tuesday. So we'll pull it up here before we get started, maybe just take a look, and we'll talk through that, what that means, right? Not all the alarms are cleared, there's some on the system.
14,713.
But we wanna make sure that you guys understand what those alarms mean and what we're working on, and then there's some of those that are just nuisance, that we're just gonna have to start weeding out and get them down to a reasonable number of alarms that are meaningful, right? Because that's really what we're gonna do at the end of the day. Anything else? Anything else you're waiting on? You need questions, comments, concerns, stuff that popped up since last time? Anything else out there? Okay. Cool. We're always here if you have questions. Let us know. So here's today's learning objectives, right? Pretty simple. Know the basic locations for the minor air conditioning equipment in the building. We want to just go through where they are. I think you may already know that information. So we'll go pretty quick through that. And then we'll look at each one of them from a control sequence and graphic standpoint so you know how they work. And now Michael.
Okay. All right. So yeah, most of the equipment we're going to talk about today is the small stuff. So let's go, like Joe said, let's go take a look at the alarms. So at the Heart Hospital, go over and click on that red button, Joe. So these are all the current alarms. Actually, if you look at this is, so let me explain what this means. So,
Sorry. I got to shut this. Okay. Carry on.
so there's 13,503 alarms that are closed. That means that they were in alarm, they were acknowledged, and they're ready to be closed. So those will fall off of here pretty quick. There's nothing you got to do but close the alarms. They're finished. There are currently 14,720 alarms since yesterday that need acknowledged, or since day before yesterday is when Corey actually did it, I believe. So basically, those are the alarms that are happening with all the room pressurizations, and you can see a lot of them are the different alarms, the condensed water isolation valve status on when it should be off, just there are different alarms throughout the system that are in TME's list that we've provided all those individual alarms. Some of them is tuning and timing to get to it. So are we waiting long enough to make sure that that's actual alarm condition? Because they just say, when it goes into this condition, if it's above this certain temperature, we alarm it, and then we just generate alarm. There's probably some timing things we need to make sure if it's above that for a period of time, or it stays there for so long. But we just created them to, based on the language and to meet the specification, but there's probably some things we need to cut out some of the stuff. That's what Joe was talking about.
Yeah, like that door alarm that just popped up there, right, for endoscopy, the third one, fourth one down there. So somebody had the door open, and that we talked about that a little bit last time, of what is the timeline we want, time frame before we get that alarm on there? Because it's a critical alarm, and do we need it?
Yeah, yep. And so that's what a lot of these, we gotta hone this list down. And a lot of it is global modifying. So when if for every space temperature, if I don't want to alarm it for 5 or 10 minutes, I can change every one of them in the whole building in one shot. All the door alarms, I can change all of them in the whole building in one shot. But it's just figuring out what those timeframes need to be so that we get rid of those nuisance alarms. There's actually 1,291 alarms that are in alarm that haven't returned in alarm. So that's the true devices that are in alarm, that haven't returned to a normal state. It's 1,291. So the number looks worse than it actually is. I mean, 1,291 is still a lot, but if you think about the number of equipment, the amount of people who are still working in space, the equipment that's getting turned on and off, and commissioning and things like that, it's going to go down here pretty quick in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, I think that was one of the items. The next item was a second floor graphic, wasn't it? And I'm probably not going in order, but that's good. So this should be the PDF drawing of second floor area A, and Carthy went through there and highlighted the VAV locations for us. So it should show approximate locations of where they're at based on the drawings.
And these are the actual shop drawings from United, so they should be the most accurate locations. Should be, if you pop that tile, you should see that box. So I guess the question from my standpoint is that the right place to go to get them on the half floor plan? Right, as you guys are working through an issue and you're looking at a box and it's time to go down there and pop a tile, are you at this stage and then you say, okay, documentation, floor plans, level 2, let me make sure I know where ST.
That's probably a good question. You probably do that exercise with that orange space there. If you hold down the Windows key and hit your left button when you're on the page, it shifts that page over to the left, and then you can open the PDF drawing at the same time on the right and compare the two and see them simultaneously. Something like that.
No, you got it right. So when I open the other PDF, it opens another window. So if I go to floor plan here.
Okay. So you may have to pull that out as a separate window.
Yes, that's right. I just gotta pull this out, and then I can do that.
So you can grab that separate window right there. So just grab it. And left click, hold on to it, and separate. There you go. Just like that. Oh, I dropped it right there. You can, sorry to go. This was those button here. Take this, and your arrow over to the right. Then you can select this on the left. You could look at them simultaneously to see, okay, where's the location? So if that meets the needs of being able to find that location or generally before you run off down there to go try to find it, then that's what we're trying, our goal is to try to meet that need.
So try it on, right? If you get there and you go, man, I don't remember where they put that thing, and it's probably not in the right place, so let us know. But for now, they're at the half floor. And we only did second floor, so if you guys are good, we can go through and do the rest of the floors. He did do them? Okay.
We just did them all while
Cool.
we were doing it.
Yeah.
So, I just had a guy that was already working on it, so I just had to go.
Yeah, so he's got them on there. Okay.
Ooh, yeah, some power off or something somewhere. Oh, that's weird. Anytime you see purple on the screen, that means it's not communicating. Most generally, it's a power issue. I mean, it could be somebody cut a cable or something like that. You know, if you got a big section that's not talking, I generally think it's a power issue. purple means it's not communicating. Again, real easy to see what's going on with the colors. What else do we have, Joe, that we were gonna follow up on and look at on here? The alarms, the floor plan graphic.
Yeah, I was gonna look at, I gotta remind myself. About purge dampers, we'll look at, sequence of operation of them. So those, so like if we do the first floor, area B.
OR.
Little OR. Then, documentation, you'll have the sequence of operation up there.
Yeah.
So if you have questions about how that thing should be operated, you can pull this up. Same thing, pull up the schematic of what the sequence is. And these will have a few pages in them, so don't forget you can scroll between pages.
So it should have the parts list, so if you had so if you go down to Joe, I don't know, we talked about this, so this is each one of the model numbers and the parts lists of what those devices do. So if you had a discharge temperature sensor that failed on the VAV box, that TE1 based on the graphics, this is the actual part number that we used if you had to replace it. You could order it yourself from BAPI, or you could order it from us, or anywhere. Those are just standard parts. You can get them from nearly anywhere, so. So we uploaded those, and that's about it. I don't think there was anything else. It's good. Okay, so let's talk about blower coil units. Everybody knows what a blower coil unit is, right? It's just a big fan coil unit. Almost said the big A word, but big fan coil unit. It really is just, these are just big, small fan coil units, and a lot of them have heating and cooling. So we go to the first floor area where these are typically located. All these blower coil units are typically located in mechanical equipment spaces. So they're going to be located in the central plant. They're going to be located in your electrical closets. They're going to be located on the second floor of where your electrical gear is. Places like that. That's where the blower coil units are.
Yeah, the two exceptions to that are
Yes.
vestibules. So any
Yeah.
of the exterior vestibules have blower coil units in them, right? And then there is a blower coil unit in that connector to the second floor in the ceiling there, right
Yes.
where it makes a turn.
Yeah.
For
That's
whatever
true.
reason.
The one that's in red right now?
The one that's in red right now.
Yeah.
So just FYI.
So a lot of the blower coil units, you may have blower coil units that have cooling only, or I don't think we have any that are heating only, but most of them are, they can be cooling only or cooling and heating, like this vestibule units that Joe clicks on here. Should see, pull up the graphic, just like all the other equipment, and pull up the set points. Right now, it's currently set 72 to 68 is our, 72 is our cooling set point, 68 is our heating set point, and all these blower coil units have a leak. One thing that's kind of different is if you look on here, each one of these blower coil units have a leak alarm. So we're monitoring if the condensate pan overflows, we have a switch inside the unit that will trigger and tell us if that condensate is overflowing. And it will shut the chill water valve off. It's not going to shut the fan off. In the past, sequences said, okay, well, if you get a condensate overflow, shut off the fan and kill the water valve. All we're doing is we're killing the operation of the chill water valve because it can, it doesn't make any sense to kill the fan when we're still pulling air across there. We can help evaporate the water that's actually inside the unit. So the fan's going to continue to run. If you walked up there and your expectation was if I had a condensate overflow, it would stop. It's actually, the fan's not going to stop, but the chill water valve should close. Anybody got any questions on that?
Will that leak alarm turn red?
It will. It'll turn red and then it'll send an alarm. Right now, the tab guys are working in the building. That's why you probably got a lot of alarms too. Look, the chill water valve's open. We're getting a discharge temperature of 53 degrees. They're working on finalizing, testing some things on the water valve side, on the chill water side. So I'm assuming that's why that's open. So the blower coil unit is really pretty simple. Right, it follows the same temperature controls, just like a VAV as far as temperature, right? We have a heating set point and a cooling set point. So it's dead band in between the heating and cooling, it should be green. Once we drop below the heating set point, we'll start modulating the hot water valve open. Let's go find a different one, different blower coil unit. So go up to the first floor here. Yeah, that mating wouldn't work. Oh, yeah, they're working on that stuff.
So is the only difference between that blower coil and VFD is there's no damper on that, or
There's no outside air on them.
no outside air?
So all your blower coil units are just return air.
Gotcha.
And so in like that vestibule, the waiting area, those units are typical, and this is waiting area, so we can actually kill two birds with one stone here. This is the radiant heat that's on the blower coil unit. We go back to that first floor area 8 graphic. It's kind of hard to see, but if you, out here along this wall, there's radiant heat that's right down on the floor. And they're just, fin tube radiant heater that's out there, and that's along the glass that's gonna help heat that glass in the wintertime. And so the blower coil unit's gonna take care of it, but once we drop below that set point, we're gonna start opening that radiant heat also. So this radiant heater, that's one of the topics of today, is a little different than the rest of the radiant heater units. The rest of the radiant heating units are generally in the patient bathrooms, things like that. All we do is allow them to come on. So if there's a call for heat, we energize the contact and say it's okay to run. The radiant heater itself inside the bathroom has its own control valve and its own adjustable thermostat inside the restrooms. So let's go to like 6th level. Yeah, you hit on that triangle there.
Right here.
Collapse level 1. There you go. Let's go to level 6. And click on that red zone in the corner, the one I've been fighting with for 3 days. Working on the building, the room pressurization with that. So if you click on that area, just on the red, anywhere there. Oh, click on here, MS bed 1 isolation. Oh, I'm sorry, you were in the right spot. I'm sorry, right there. See that ceiling radiant heater? All we do is turn it on, measure status whether it's on or off. It's got its own valve and its own thermostat that controls that actual space, and it's just like a radiant heater. That's all it is in those places. So those control-wise are really pretty simple. There's not a lot we do from our standpoint. If you see it's on and we're telling it to be on, then it should be working. And if it's not, then I don't know, it may be a power issue, or it could be a problem with the valve that's in there. But we're not really controlling those.
Stats.
Yeah. Make questions questions on the radiant heaters? Because they're scattered all over in the restrooms throughout the building. And those are just typically in patient rooms, in the restrooms.
So I've got a question about, we
Yeah.
got some radiant heat panels under the ER registration desk. And the thermostat for them is about that far away from them. So as soon as they kick on, they kick off.
Kick off. In the tower in the new addition?
No, in our new ER.
Oh, in the
of
ED edition?
Yeah, ED
Oh, okay.
existing. So,
The fan tube units underneath the desk.
yeah, you got the radiant panels
I
underneath,
didn't know they had
and the thermostats are underneath right there beside it.
that. Something we probably ought to take note of or talk to somebody about. I
Because as soon
don't-
as those ladies turn them on,
Yeah.
days we have cool days, they immediately kick off
Kick
because.
right back off because they're involved.
Well, that one will sit right above a computer on one side.
No, and so the problem is with the space heaters, if you did, is that what you just mentioned?
Well, but if that radiant panel comes on, the thermostat's right there, so it's
The
not on.
thermostat's too close to.
It's not on for
Yeah.
2 minutes and it's already kicked off.
That's something we probably, I'm gonna
Space heaters are
down, that's a question.
Back there with heated up. I turned them off and I turned that on and it kicked on and started.
Because I've struggled with those heat panels, especially when it was cool,
Yeah.
because they meet set point just as soon as they kick on.
Okay. Nope. That's something we need to look at then. Okay. Well, I'll jot that down. We should probably go put some eyes on it and see is there a better location to put the thermostat maybe or something like that. Because if as soon as it comes on, it trips off, it's not really doing a whole lot. Okay? All right, so let's jump back down to, anybody questions on radiant heaters? They're all pretty simple. I think, get into a space that's not maintaining temperature in the restroom or one of the patient restrooms, you'll be able to diagnose it pretty easy because they're just got a manual thermostat on the wall and be able to diagnose if there's any water flow through it. That's pretty easy. Let's jump back to the level 1. Let's go back to that waiting area of blower cooling.
Yeah, it's,
Slow for you too.
I never could get in that last page on level 6.
Huh. Mess with stuff every time we get ready to do training. Yep.
Okay, we need to go around to the front entrance, come in.
Well, let's try something.
Yeah.
Would be the deal. It's so crazy.
I'll miss you down there.
This site's been really
Right.
good the whole time we've been working out here. Better than the There's so much going on over there right now with the commissioning and the guys working and doing different things that could be something that they're doing. So this particular blower coil unit has a hot water valve that's controlled to the same thermostat. It's on a radiant heater, right? So this blower coil unit and that radiant heater valve is going to try to maintain 70 degrees in that space. I believe that's the only kind of unique blower coil unit we have. All of them control the same. We're monitoring the filter status. You start, stop, fan status, chill water valve, hot water valve, discharge temperature, and then condensate flow. All of them should be identical. Let's go to the second floor. So there's quite a bit of equipment on the second floor that serves the electrical switch gear, all a bunch of equipment back here in the electrical room. And then there's 2 electrical closets, for lack of a better term, electrical rooms that have all the breakers and everything else. Those 2 have a blower coil unit that sit on the floor, and they're like a up discharge type unit. Most the blower coil units that you're going to see in the facility in the central plant, in the 4th floor mechanical room, even in electrical rooms on other floors, are all mounted up high in the ceiling, and they're just they're overhead type fan coil unit, blower coil unit. But you have a few that are like updraft units that sit back. Yeah.
And all the overhead ones are downflow, basically.
Yeah. They have a discharge right out the front out of them, and then, they're just blowing into the space. So if you click on area A, and we find there's an electrical room up here I want to click on. Find it over here. This electrical equipment. Yep, right there. So here's your other, like, typical blower coil unit. Sequence-wise, they're simple, right? I mean, if temperature drops below the heating set point, we're going to start opening the hot water valve to try to get back up to the heating set point. Temperature goes above the cooling set point, chill water valve is going to open enough to bring it back down to the cooling set point. Simple. Fan runs all the time. Their fan doesn't cycle off. They run continuously. Then we monitor the status, the discharge temperature, and the filter status. Any questions on blower coil units?
No, very much.
They know most, the test and balance guys set them, they're ECM motors. So a lot of them are, the tab guys set them to the speed because they're set to constant volume. So when they went through, they adjusted them to the speed at which TME design, or the airflow that TME designed. So you shouldn't have to ever change it. When the unit comes on, it should go to that speed. It's not going to adjust the variable. They're not going to vary the speed, I should say. But very good question, because there's quite a few of them that have ECM motors in them. Anyway, anybody else have any questions on blower coil units? Pretty simple. Let's talk about fan coil units. You know what the difference between a fan coil unit and a blower coil unit is? nothing. It's just the blower coil units are bigger, and they're calling blower coil units, fan coil units, just a smaller piece of equipment. It's basically controls the same, doing the same thing. So let's go to the 4th floor. See, that stairwell, if you look at the stairwell here, you've got a fan coil unit right there. So I think there's 4 in the stairwells. You've got 1 on each stairwell on the 1st floor, 1 on each stairwell on the 4th floor. And they're heating only. So that's all they're gonna do in the wintertime is make sure that space stays, above freezing. So there's probably opportunity to adjust some of these. I don't know, what that set point needs to be. Maybe it's 68, maybe it's 65. Maybe you don't want to heat it all the way up to 70. There's, maybe in the wintertime.
About 58 is what we got our others set on.
Yeah, maybe it's 58.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you're really looking for is that most people ain't traveling up and down those
No,
stairwells.
that keeps them plenty warm enough.
Yeah, keeps
You
it
get
freezing.
Well, you get it any warmer than that, you use the stairs, you're sweating before you.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 4 that I know of. Yeah, I believe there's 4. They just heat and warm the space, so pretty simple. Again, the only thing, these things, we're monitoring the filter status, start-stop status, discharge temperature. We drop below the heating set point, we're gonna warm it up with the valve, and that's it. And the fan runs 24/7, so those are the 4 locations for the fan coil units. The other locations for blower coil units are, let's go to the top. Let's go up to, let's go to rooftop. Click on the rooftop. If you see over here, see where it's green over here? We got a couple blower coil units in there. Or 1 blower coil unit in that elevator penthouse. So we got a couple of blower coil units in the elevator penthouse. Equipment rooms, electrical rooms, elevator penthouses. That's the only place I know where there's blower coil units. There's 40 of these dudes in the tower. So there's 40 blower coil units throughout the tower. I wouldn't have thought there'd been so many, but once I started adding them up, you think about all the elevator equipment rooms, a couple electrical rooms on each floor. So that's 12. You got the big equipment room on the 4th floor that's got like 4 or 5 in it, and then you have the central plant area that's got like 4 or 5 blower coil units in there, and then the 2nd floor central plant area that's got another 4 or 5 in there. So there's quite a few. There's more in the building than what I thought.
Are all those leak alarms in the pan underneath them?
They're in the unit underneath the pan.
Gotcha.
So right now, we're probably going to change that. We're going to United to get them a deal that's going to screw in the side for like a condensate overflow switch.
So there's gonna be a wet switch on them that shuts that unit off when it senses it?
Yeah, shut the valve off.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave the fan running.
Gotcha.
Because we used to kill the fan, and that was the old theory was, okay, we kill the fan and the valve. But just the fan running helps with the evaporation. So if you're already overflowing and there's a danger of flooding something with water, why not just let the fan evaporate a little bit of the water so that you don't continue to, or it may help reduce some of the water that's inside the unit. But if you look, the properties pages, everything else is the same all the way across. All the logic pages to get to everything, all these adjustments, just like we talked about on the BABs, everything's same place. Go in there and make those whatever adjustments you want to make. questions on those guys? Pretty simple. Yeah. So let's go to the crack units. So we talked about lower coil units, main coil units, radiant heaters, pretty easy. Let's talk about the crack units. So click on, let's go to level 2. Click on, I think area A is where we need to go. Yeah. There are, inside the, where's the IT rooms at? Is that there? Let's go to area 1, we'll go to level 1 then. Make sure I'm in the right spot. So this is all, that's not showing those crack units. I'll have to look and see where they're at. Okay. Click up here, let's expand area A. First floor, crack units. Click on, there's 4 of them in there.
Click on this one.
Yeah, I'll have to go and find out where they are external graphics. We're not controlling anything with these crack units. All we're doing is pulling in the data from them. So those are all labor units. I'll have to look at that, but this is the data we're pulling in. Crack unit enabled status, they're enabled all the time. They're run 24/7. Temperature control state, room temp, temperature set point, humidity set point, and humidity and room humidity set point. So we're monitoring these units. There's some alarms that's in our scope and our sequence, so we're monitoring those units, and then we just report it. Right click on the screen and hit scale to fit. I didn't know if you guys knew that this was there, but anyway, those are all the alarms that it produces out of each one of those units too. So let's see if we can go, see if that same thing is underneath the second floor area A and it's just not showing up on the graphics. Crack units. Yeah, there it is, second floor area, crack units. Just gonna click on. See, they're messing, they're working on them right now, so we'll just download it. But anyway, there's not, other than alarms and monitoring, we're not adjusting any set points, we're not changing anything. It's just a status of how it's working.
Those crack units have filters or anything in them?
Yes,
They do?
yes. Yeah, I believe they got filters. I'm not sure what kind of humidifiers they have in them. You know, how a lot of, some units with humidifiers have those little canisters and things like that. I'm not sure what's in those units as far as crack units, but this is the points that we're reading off of.
And so those are mainly in IT rooms?
Just in IT rooms.
Uh-huh.
So on each floor, there's 3. One for, there's an IT room for OHH, and then there's 2 for Mercy on each floor. Why is that? How come Mercy gets 2 and you guys only got 1? What's the deal with that?
That's all we needed.
Yeah, yeah. Just, you don't have to have them.
So is there documentation of those units or?
I'm assuming they're probably gonna do training with you guys on the units and stuff, so, but
Nothing like
I'm gonna make a note, we gotta show these on the floor plan page will show what kind of color it is and everything else, so it should be. Put it on the 4th floor. Or the 3rd floor, let's do the 3rd floor first. No? Yeah, go ahead and click there and see. Yeah, see, it should be in these 3 rooms right here. So what's missing off of our graphics is the color association for that individual room. So I'm gonna make a note that, and we'll make sure it's on there, and then next time before we meet, we'll talk about it, make sure that it's got all the stuff on there. They came out and they made some modifications to them, and I know on a couple of floors, we just got talking like last week, so. But I think everything's talking, there's no issues, I think everything's working. We need to get them on the graphics.
So basically the crack units just have a chilled water valve in them? Or,
They're chill water and,
because
yes.
they've got all their hardware in there and you're trying to keep it cool, you're not trying to heat it up, and it's.
Right, yeah, they're just DX as far as I know. And, they have humidifier, they go into dehumidification to keep humidity down. I know that.
Gotcha.
Remember that in the sequence. But we're not directly controlling them, but you will get alarms from the system when all that stuff goes off over there. One of the things that we noticed was happening is a couple of months ago when, was wrestling with the chillers and stuff like that, because it pulls chill water off to use for the condensed water side of the DX units, and so it'll give you some trouble if
Your
it
water
gets
warms
too,
up a little.
but should be past that now with construction and everything. Hopefully, that'll be a very rare thing that happens. So, in a nutshell, the unitary type equipment there's not that much, but it's pretty simple sequence of operations too. There's not a lot to them, but you guys got any questions? Any of that stuff? Okay. I told Joe we were going to be tough to fill up 9 minutes talking about these units. You guys got any questions or anything you want to just kind of run through while we got a little time, or?
You guys want to look at the plan area?
Yeah. We could kind of preliminary do it. I mean, Corey's going to go through this on Tuesday, but yeah, look at the plan, pull up the plan. Yeah, it's right down here. We separated it because generally it's something, I mean, if you generally are going to go to the plan, you're going to want to go straight to the plan, so, yeah. Typically, on the sequence of operation, and Corey's going to go through this on the central plant, but the central plant is going to, you're basically just going to, majority of the time, you're probably going to need one chiller. These chillers, they're really can keep up with the load pretty good. Last week, or here the other day, when we got into the mid-90s and upper 90s, we had to have 2 machines to run. And they kicked on, ran, but like right now, we've only got 1 machine running. It's able to maintain set point. Due to the pressure that we need up at the air handling units, like if you look right here, this differential pressure is the pressure leaving the plant. It's 26.45. Set point is at 27. You're generally going to see 2 chill water pumps running a lot. So you may say 2 chill water pumps, 1 chiller, 1 condensed water pump, and 1 tower for them majority of the operation, it can handle it. We get into higher loads, you're gonna see 2 chill water pumps, 2 chillers, 2 condensed water pumps, and 2 towers. So basically, if we gotta bring another chiller on, we need another condensed water pump, and we need another cooling tower. Pretty simple. The pumps, chill water pumps stage on to maintain that pressure. So if one pump can come and stay running and maintain this pressure, then that's all you need. But if you need 2 pumps, second pump comes on, and then they both ramp in sequence. You can click on that, probably over there, so go ahead and click right there. I think it'll take you to the.
Right here?
Anywhere over here, I think, will take you to the, yeah. See how it highlighted this? Should take you to the chill water pump manager. So the system's broken up in the plant. It's broken up by the different pieces that need to be managed. In other words, your chill water pumps rotate, your condensing water pumps rotate, and your chillers rotate. So those chill water pumps are kind of handled as a separate system. And we manage their rotation and who needs to be on and all that different times. If you click down here, click on this manual rotation. There's the option of rotating the pumps. So really we give you multiple options. Maybe you want to do it based on runtime, maybe you want to do it monthly, weekly, daily. Different people have different theories. Some want to do it every day at 9 a.m. So I want to be on site, want to make sure somebody's there, that way when it rotates, we have somebody there and we can just kind of pop in and check it. That's some people's theory. Other people's theory is in facilities where the plant turns off, I don't want it to rotate till 2 o'clock in the morning. Rotate the pumps while we're off, that way when it starts back up, I got a separate pump start. And so that's the reason you've got the different options. Or you just do it manually. Right now it's manual. If somebody we want to rotate a pump, we got to go in here and manually rotate it. Tell it, rotate to the next pump. And that's just because we've been watching it, we're doing commissioning and test amounts and things like that. We just didn't want it rotating when we didn't have the opportunity to make sure it was all good. Okay. Click back to chiller manager, so here's the chiller manager, which works the same way as the chill water pump manager. It's just which chiller do you want to rotate. So when this pulls up, it should have the same kind of dashboard thing over here on the right. Corey's probably he's gonna get way more in depth and into the sequence of operation next week when you'll start talking about it. What all this stuff means and how to rotate them and all that, but just basically this is kind of the information that's being given. You should, at design flow, with these differential pressure transducers across the barrels, you should be able, when we're at the right amount of flow rate, it should be pretty close to what is designed on the chiller. So if design at the chiller is 5 psi on the condenser water barrel for 1200 GPM, we have one pump running, we're at 1200 GPM, you should be somewhere around 5 psi. It's going to fluctuate because we're dealing with the pressure transmitter and it's just turbulence and everything else, but it should be pretty close. Your chill water side, your chill water differential is going to go up. So design may be 7 or 8. Okay, so we're at 7. This is a calculated number. Let's jump back over to the chill water system. We have 2 meters on the system. Let's see, where's our chill water meter right here? So see how much flow we're actually doing. Doing 1136. So 1136 GPM is what's this meter's reading. The condensed water meter, where's this guy at? Let's see it. Click on the, is there a condensed water pump manager? Yeah, or a tower pump manager.
Tower manager?
It should be a tower pump, or condense, click on it, condensed water pumps, there you go. So one machine is basically 1200 GPM. So this, condensed water pump speed is gonna try to control the maintain differential pressure at 1200 GPM set point. So if we got just one chiller on, that's what this thing's gonna try to track, is this 1200 GPM. If you got two chillers on, it's gonna track to 2400 GPM, right? And we need another cooling tower, because only one cooling tower can handle one machine and one condensed water pump. Over here to talent manager. And then your cooling towers rotate same way. You can rotate them daily, weekly, monthly. Choose which ones to turn on and off, and this is what the graphic looks like. Right now, we're trying to maintain a condensed water set point of 75 degrees.
Facility shrub. Yeah.
Generally, it's controlled pretty good. I mean, it's, we get reached into the 90s. Don't be surprised if this temperature goes up. You know, with this fan maker running 100%, we may be only kicking out 82 degree condensed water back to the chiller. But it's running full speed. It's not, you know, chillers can run with 82 degree condensed water. That's not a problem. But we're trying to maintain 75. A little bit cooler water than 85 is a little more, machine's more efficient. So. Anyway, that's pretty high level of this kind of stuff. Corey's gonna get into the weeds, and he's gonna really talk about the plant stuff next week. But almost majority of the time, I think you're gonna see, until winter gets here, you're gonna probably see 2 chill water pumps, 1 chiller, 1 condensed water pump, and 1 tower. Until we hit into the 90s. When we get into the 90s, we're gonna have 2 chillers, 2 condensed water pumps, 2 towers, and still 2 chill water pumps. So. Anybody else have any other questions, or you want to see anything? I hate to go too far down, because I know Corey's gonna really get down next week, and you guys will probably have a ton of questions for him. Any questions on blower coil units, fan coil units, radiators? We'll get the CRACU units put on the graphics. They're on there, they're just not a link on the floor plan. So we'll get those stuff on the floor plan.